What is up, everybody? Today the mission is to fix this bike. Now it's got some electrical issues. Whenever you hit the brakes, the whole system cuts out. So I'm pretty sure it's just a couple wires shorted together, but that is our mission today, is find out what is wrong with that and fix it. So the first thing that we're going to try to do here is take off the seat and the gas tank, and then we can expose all the wires and see what exactly is going on with this bike. Alright, so I got the bike kind of torn down a little bit, and I'm pretty sure I found out the issue. So the customer complained that either time he'd hit the brakes, either the rear brakes or the front brakes, that the bike, the whole system would just shut down. So there's these couple wires back here that I traced all the way up past the radiator and over to here. You can see that those two wires are melted together. Now, that is a common theme on this bike, is wires melted together. Hence, all these wires melted together. So I have a feeling on what happened is the bike got so hot that it actually started melting those wires together, and then every time that he hits the brakes or whatever, the whole system just shorts out. So I'm going to try to have to go through there and find out how many wires are melted together, what wires are melted together, take them all apart, and put electrical tape around everything, and hopefully it'll all work, or else we're going to have to get a whole new wiring harness. That'd be a pain. So I'm just going to take all the wire covers off and whatnot to see all the damage that was done. Alright guys, so under further investigation, here are those wires for the brake light. Yeah, it doesn't take an expert mechanic to see that that is not good at all. The whole thing has been melted. Thankfully, when it reaches up top here, it actually is in decent shape, so I'll just have to solder 2 new wires in there, and hopefully that'll do it. So I got my wires here all stripped and ready to go. Everything's good. Now, one thing, if this ever happens to you guys, make sure that these are still not melted, as well as this connector here. I had to make sure that it did not have any connection, so you got to check the continuity or resistance of that to make sure that that is not melted somewhere along the line somewhere else, just like the other wires were. But it was open with the brake normal, and then when I pressed it down, the resistance went to 0. So that's just one thing you guys are going to want to check if this ever happens to you. Make sure that everything past the plug to the switch is all going correctly, and then you should be good to go. Alright, so I got the wiring all done and everything. I got the heat shield on there, heat shrink wrap, whatever. So then the next thing to do is just solder these 2 into the bike, and we should be good to go as far as the rear brake switch goes anyways. Alright guys, quick update here. Currently I have just wired this all in there. I have to get some sort of wrap for that so that way it doesn't melt it again. But also I took off the headlamp cover here to check out what's underneath here, all these wires and everything. Everything under here looks pretty good. There's nothing melting crazy, but except for this one. So it's kind of hard to see until we get over here. As you can see, the white and brown wires are melted together completely. I tried to tear them apart and I can't, so I'm gonna have to drop some of these prongs out of here and solder more wires in. I also found some more wires in the back here that had burnt through. They weren't bad at all. So yeah, don't buy Suzuki. Alright, so I finally got that wire all done and stuff. As you can see, I put this reflective tape on it, as well as I put it on the bottom of this wiring harness just to try to prevent any potential heat in the future. So that's pretty much all done. Now I'm up here working on this. So here's the connector. As you can see, I pulled these two pins out. Now I just got to put new wires in them, throw these pins back in there, and that should be close to everything. That should be good to go. So here's another quick update. So I got everything done up here. All that plug works and everything. So we finally get the ignition on. The battery is drained, so I currently have it on the charger here. So it was still popping up, and when I would hit the brake, the whole display would go dark. And then I ended up pulling this wire out from the tail light and everything. Turns out it looks like you could barely see. So anyways, you can see right there, there's a little bit of wire sticking through. So I have a feeling that wire was just grounding itself on the frame, and that's what started everything to get super hot there and hot up there and everything. So I believe that that was actually the root of the problem, because once I took that off, then everything kind of seemed to work about as normal. So I'm going to wait for the battery to charge up a little bit, so that way to see if that actually fixed the problem or not. Alright guys, so I'm pretty sure I am fully wrapped up on this bike. It needs a new battery. I'm just going to tell the customer that. He should be able to do it himself. So yeah, everything on it works now. At least when you hit the brakes, the whole system doesn't shut down anymore. It was all those wires melted together. And I believe the main source of the problem was that rear one. It was just grounding out to the frame. But in turn, what happened was it melted the other wires together, and that easily could have started a fire and could potentially have very well harmed him if he had not taken it to me. So, moral of the story is, when your bike starts having problems, take it to somebody who knows what they're doing, or find out how to do it yourself. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.